first practicum of Teachers College.
A lot of teacher candidates go in and they get a little paranoid about they want everything to be perfect.
Dressing professional.
I was buying like cardigans, sweaters for the winter season.
Was there anything unexpected?
You have to learn who likes who and like it's just a mess.
I thought I had it in the back horrible.
And you're like, what am I gonna do now? And you kind of got to go with the flow.
It was nerve-wracking to walk into the staff room.
I was having lunch. This lady comes up to me and she's like, why are you sitting in my seat?
How long did it take to lesson plan?
A lot to get used to.
I was spending more time writing those lessons
And actually doing the lesson.
than doing the
Yeah.
It was insane.
And I try to chunk it together, figure out a way that works.
You guys like working with your AT?
You let me know that it's okay to make those mistakes.
My ATs took up for me a lot too. Like I am a little bit more laid back, but at the same time, like I'm not gonna get taken advantage of.
Behavior management, any strategies we used?
I would just play the pity. I won't lie.
You can use some ASMR with your teacher voice.
Yeah, can we hear an example, please?
Yeah.
Vincent, what do we do with our phones?
Sorry, Miss Shelley.
Hello and welcome back to Keeping Up with Candidates. Today we have two even more requested guests. Who do we have today?
I'm Shelley.
And I'm Vincent.
Vincent or Vinny?
Everyone calls me Vinny, but the professional way is Vincent. So
Okay. I'll
Up to
switch
you.
back and
You have
forth.
another name as well now.
Oh, Gabe. You can call me Gabe too. Yeah, according to our law teacher, I'm Gabe.
So at the time of recording, Halloween is right around the corner. But guys, I can think of something scarier that might even have more potential to strike fear into people than Halloween. And that is the first practicum of Teachers College.
Ugh.
Fair.
I've spoken with some first-year teacher candidates. I've got a bunch of questions, and I think you guys can help answer them to ease some stress that they may be having. So without any further ado, nervous first-year teacher candidates, this episode's for you. Rhymed a little bit there. On a scale of 1 to 10, how nervous were both of you guys for your first practicum?
I'd say like a 3. Like I was pretty relaxed going into it. I did my practicum at my school board that I grew up in. I knew the teacher who I not knew well, but she was a teacher at my old elementary school. I knew people, teachers at that school, some admin, and I felt pretty relaxed and confident going into it. So I was probably at a 3. Obviously, there's a little room for unknown, but I was pretty calm.
That's
Shelley?
good. Oh my gosh. I was probably double that. I give it a 6.
Ooh.
I mean, I was placed in Niagara. I grew up in the YDSB region, so
York region, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
York region. 2 very different areas, I find. One is like the boonies is where I ended up, I won't lie. Sorry, Welland, but compared to the suburbs, yeah, honestly, leading up with all the classes, I didn't even know what the classroom would look like. I won't lie. We were not prepared for that whatsoever. I had to contemplate if I even wanted to be a teacher leading up to the placement. I didn't know what I was doing.
I mean, I think that probably mirrors a lot of first-year teacher candidates' like feelings and experience. They're probably like, especially if you're in concurrent where you haven't been in a classroom too much in your first 4 years, or even us, we haven't been in a classroom in our first 4 years. And then all of a sudden, you're a teacher candidate, you're in a classroom, you're gonna have to teach some lessons. There's a lot of potential for things to go good and also wrong. So
I also did emergency supply teaching for 4 years before this too. Like during my undergrad when COVID started, they needed teachers, so I'd go in and help. So I'm pretty comfortable like being in a classroom and being in front of people. I think the biggest thing for me, and I'm sure we'll get into it, is more like the lesson plans and stuff like that. That's where I think all the stress kind of leads up to, and I'm sure we'll get into that.
we're gonna go into the nitty-gritty here. First day, walking into the school. Did you just knock on the door? Did you just walk in? I don't know if I go in, am I gonna get like, am I trespassing if I go in the wrong way? Like, I don't know.
I didn't even know if they'd let me in if I pressed that button. Like, who was I to stand there and be like, guys, let me in. Please, I'm here to teach your kids.
I walked through that front door like I own the place.
Really?
Honestly, I walked right through. But I mean, I went to the office, said hi, said I'm going to this class. They told me what class I'm in. Walked there. The teacher, what's it called again? The
AT.
AT. Yeah, sorry, long time.
Associate teacher.
Yeah, associate teacher. Yeah, proper words. Was waiting for me. Shook her hand, said hello. Went around to like other classrooms around me, like said hi to those teachers. Introduced myself to the principal, and kind of just went from there.
You had that whole formal.
I was ready to
They
go.
rolled out
Like
the red carpet.
I might have planned it a little bit before I went to bed that night. Kind of what I was gonna do.
You're
Went
gonna
honestly
plan.
not
Just practicing?
Yeah,
Practice
practice in my head. I feel like you got to do that sometimes. And honestly, it went fine. Like really, no hiccups at all like that. Didn't get booted right when I tried to walk in and stuff like that.
The
yeah.
thing I was most nervous about was just that there would be a spot to park. And after I parked, I was
yeah.
like, we're rolling, we're good. I walk in through the door. The principal was ready and said, hello, your teacher candidate. Like, yep, I'm here. They're expecting us. Like, it's not like we're walking in on a random. They know they're getting a teacher candidate sometime during the year. They know we're coming on this specific day.
Yeah.
And the principal's probably job is to greet us, say hello, let us, help us navigate the school, let us know where our AT is.
That would be
And,
brutal. You walk in, they go, who are you?
What are you doing here?
Or you just go to the wrong school. Like, something like that would be brutal.
Oh my god, I was commuting there. So
Oh,
then I was
actually,
commuting.
yeah. All of us, there's a lot of kilometers between the three of us.
Oh, yeah.
It was
Unlimited
bad.
kilometers.
It
A
was-
lot of money spent at the gas tank, I'm sure.
Oh yeah, like
Yeah.
I'm so lucky that Brock provides you that free bus fee, but like the commute, at least an hour via the bus to get to my school.
It took you an hour?
At least
To
if
your
I was
school.
taking the bus. But then
Man.
after I had like 6 other teacher candidates at my school, so one of them graciously granted
Oh my
me
gosh,
a ride.
that's
oh my
brutal.
god.
It took me.
Bless her.
I mean, for me to get here, it takes an hour 20. For me to get to my school, it took me 3 minutes.
No.
So that was fine. Like, and it was right beside my old high school. So like, kind of like the de-stress I was talking about. Why I was fine is like I knew where the parking lot was.
That's probably
Like I knew a lot of those things going into it, and I feel like that's not the case for a lot of people. And I got like super lucky towards that. Where like I knew a lot of those small things where I feel like a lot of teacher candidates kind of go in and they get a little paranoid about they want everything to be perfect. Obviously, it's not going to be perfect, but those little kind of things like helped me out a lot. Where like I wasn't. That's why my stress level was at a 3 going into it instead of a 6 or higher.
Yeah, that's fair. I come from Stony Creek to Brock.
Oh.
That's great.
Shelley, I believe, goes from Vaughan. And then Vincent goes from Guelph.
Yeah,
So,
that's a long ways.
and then we've kind of reversed. I guess Vincent was the closest to his school.
Mm-hmm.
Shelley was still really far away. And it was basically equidistant going to Brock versus the school. It wasn't too crazy, but I was already used to the drive, so it wasn't too bad. The first week of your practicum is the observation week. You kind of observe, some might teach a lesson in the first week. What was the observation week like for you?
I was not observing.
You were not?
I was not.
You were teaching?
Observing. I kid you not. I walk in first day. My AT's like, "Hey,
I need a lesson in 5 minutes.
So what do you think about teaching on Wednesday? Mind you, it's Monday. I just walked in. What happened to like looking at your classroom?" And I was like, "Who was I to say no?" So I was like, "Yeah, sure." I was teaching that Wednesday. After that, every single day I took over math and then other subjects because he was like, "Oh, how about like science? We're starting a new unit. How about literacy?" I was like, "Okay,
I'm
why
in."
not?"
Yeah.
Who was I to say no? So I was teaching since first week.
Man.
Like, again, I got really lucky. First weekend, like, strictly observation. Like, I went in there and I set a game plan with my AT where we kind of went over what I would be teaching, what units. We set out kind of a schedule of what I would be doing. I did math, religion, health, and gym. So, obviously, like, well, for me, it was stuff right up my alley, and
That's
it
a
was
setup.
stuff that I really liked. So that was awesome. But yeah, the observation honestly was a lot, just like getting to know the students, kind of their personality traits, kind of getting a sense of maybe like what students I got to look out for when I'm teaching in terms of like discipline and behavior, what kids I can lean upon, where if I have to ask a question or if the teacher was out for that day and I was like kind of leading that class was a supply teacher, what students could I lean upon for help and stuff like that. So that's, again, like I got lucky, and I feel like that's what observation week is for, to kind of get like a sense, and especially for the students to get a sense of who you are too, instead of just this random person coming in their class just like Timbuktu, you know,
Yeah.
who is this guy, like
Yeah.
coming in with the beard, random, don't
These
know
grade
who he
are looking
is.
older and older.
Yeah,
every
just like
year.
go right into a math class and they're like, what's going on
Yeah.
here? Yeah.
No, my observation week, I tend to get like a little jittery when I'm sitting for a while. So after one day of kind of observing, I did an opening presentation. This is me, all about me. I did a little presentation on that, and then I just kind of watched, observed. They had a test the first day I was there, so I was just walking around trying to help them with this like triangle test, or I don't know what it was, but I was helping them out with that. And yeah, just connecting with the students. I will probably do this in my second practicum too, but at recess, I was like, I'm not going in the staff room. I'm gonna eat my lunch very quick. I'm going outside. I'm playing basketball with these
You're
kids.
hooping?
I'm
Oh,
going.
yeah.
I'm going out and having recess for the first time in 6
All right,
years.
we also got to preface, I think our observation week was 2 weeks before the Christmas holidays.
It was.
So these
Yes.
kids,
2,
these
3.
students were jacked up. Like they were like bouncing off walls. They were ready to go home for Christmas. And I think the first week we were actually teaching, it might have been a week or two.
I think it was first week of December was observation, and the next 3 were.
It had to have been less than that.
I think
Two
it, no,
weeks?
it was,
No
it was
way.
3 weeks.
I'll overlay it on the
'Cause-
screen.
Yeah, figure that out. But we went at a time where I don't know why they did it like this. It was tough because you got to think of the mentality of like when I was 8, 9, 10 years old. That last week of Christmas, like you're not thinking
You're
about doing
jumping.
schoolwork, and they're expecting us to do a math class,
Yeah.
and like it was. You try to tailor it to like Christmas and stuff like that, but it was tough.
Whatever you wanted to achieve, you were achieving about probably half of that.
Yeah,
realistically.
exactly. And I think the one thing is to like don't get discouraged, especially in the first couple of weeks if they're not as attentive or they don't take on the lesson as much, because just like a lot of things, it's like practicing, teaching is you got to practice first. That's why we're in practicum. So yeah,
I
don't
won't
get
lie.
discouraged.
I was grateful for my AT for actually throwing me in there for the first week, because there's only so much you can do when you observe.
Yeah,
Honestly, like
fair.
sit there, watch
Like
the
for a
class.
whole week,
It's too much.
like it's
Yeah,
too-
it was a lot.
I
That was
need an
gonna work
observation
towards the end.
day, maybe.
I was
like,
happy
max.
getting thrown in there. I won't lie. Teaching every day, I thought it'd be like a one and done, and then next week I'd continue. But like it was a good routine because they got to know me after that as well.
Yeah. I think I taught like one drama lesson, and maybe I helped out with the gym class in the first week. Nothing crazy,
really?
but it was just to get to know the kids, connect with them, basically. Regarding attire, we are all very nicely dressed today, as we can tell, and there is a we talked about this a bit in our classes before we were in the practicum, but dressing professional. How did you guys feel about maybe altering your attire a little bit to dress up for the practicum?
I did have to buy new clothes. My wardrobe consists of like t-shirts, like graphic tees. I'm afraid I can't just wear that in there. I was buying like cardigans, some sweaters for the winter season. The plainest, most basic clothes I could find.
I golf a lot, so I literally just wear golf polos.
I also got
That
polos.
I have like the Lululemon ABC pants. Those work like a charm. If there were days where I know it was gym heavy, I had a very relaxed principal where she would wear like the Lululemon like track pants, not the ABCs, but like more of the running ones.
Yeah.
And she allowed that. No jeans, but she allowed that. And if I knew we had a gym class that day or we were going outside or doing anything active, I'd wear that. And then days where I know I was in the classroom more, I'd wear the little bit more dress pants and the polo
Yeah.
and stuff like that.
To begin, definitely more dressed up. Like
Oh,
my,
for
my school
sure,
let us
yeah.
wear jeans and stuff. I hate wearing jeans. Fun fact: so I've never worn
Really?
jeans. Well, I wear like fake sweatpants jeans, but I haven't worn actual jeans in like forever. But my teacher was wearing jeans. Like there's another teacher candidate. She was professionally dressed as well. And then after a while, I wasn't wearing like hoodies by the end of the first week. But right before the Christmas break, I was all hoodied on Monday
Is
or
jeans
Friday.
really that bad?
I think it depends
don't
on
know.
the school, because there's some principals and teachers that like the old school ones. Like my mom's a teacher. She does not like when people wear jeans in
Really?
class. Yeah, I think it depends on kind of who the principal is and the older teachers, because they kind of set the tone, and then from there.
I was wearing jeans almost every day.
Yeah,
Um,
definitely depends on the school.
Yeah.
Your AT or principal can probably brief you on that. But we are teacher
Yeah.
candidates, so they'll figure it out. For
It
us.
was definitely like I wasn't rocking ripped jeans or anything like
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
Just like
yeah.
clean blues,
Yeah.
Clean blue.
clean blue.
Nice.
Yeah. So after we survive the first couple periods, we have a lunch break. So during lunch, did you guys go eat with the staff and talk to them, get some great advice? Did you go like me and go outside for recess for the first week or so? Like, what did you guys do during the lunch break?
I ate lunch with them for a bit, but then I realized if I didn't have any other teacher candidates with me, things would go south really fast. Like I would sit there, be quiet, and not interact.
I would find that the youngins in there were the only ones on their phone,
Oh,
and
really?
everybody else, all the other teachers, were all just talking, and then I'm over there on my phone. The other teacher candidate's on her phone. Some other young supplies on her phone. It was just, I was like, oh my god, this is a very clear generation gap that I'm
By
experiencing
the end
here.
of my placement, though, I was making a little cult in my little portable. I won't lie. I had like a little lunch group going on where I was like, all right, first come, first serve. I had a whiteboard, all their names, and 3 strikes, you're out. Yeah, it was very It was fun though. They enjoyed it. I won't lie. I rewarded them if they didn't, speak out of turn. That sounds rude, but like if they were not raising their hands before they spoke, I would just be like, all right, one strike.
Yeah.
I think the first couple days I went to the staff room, just like chopped it up with the other teachers there. It was great. But then towards like, I think the first or second week I coached the basketball team and chess, and that was always during lunch. So I don't think I was in for a lunch for a long time. Like I'd eat my lunch usually during my what's it called, planning time, and then that was it. A lot of the time I was just coaching, or chess was pretty chill. You just play chess, eat lunch.
Yeah.
Like
It was nerve-wracking to walk into the staff room, and they've got their
Oh, yeah.
established like. Some of them have established spots. They're like, do
they
not
have
sit
their
there.
clicks already. Yeah.
Yeah. But I found, at least at my school, they were very, very welcoming. They were talking to you about stuff. And I found by the end, I wasn't even using my phone in the staff room because I just enjoyed kind of talking with them. So
You are right about that, though. Like, it was a couple years ago, I was supply teaching, and I sat down, like, in the staff room at this one spot, and I was having lunch. And this lady comes up to me. I think she was the receptionist, and she's like, why are you sitting in my seat? I go, oh, like, this is yours? And she goes, yeah, like, I always sit here for lunch. And I'm like, what? Like, what? How old are we? What are we doing here? Like, who cares?
You're
and
in her
then,
spot.
yeah, and I got up, I moved, and she sat down, and I'm like, that's kind of the culture you don't want to. Like, this wasn't at my school that I was doing my practicum at. It was just like a one-off, one-day thing, but that was just something that rubbed me the wrong way.
That's one of the things.
Because it does happen, though. Like, you have to, like, it's bad to say, but like those people in our careers do exist, and I think you just
work through it.
Like that's not something I really want to deal with. So like I'm just like whatever, just go do your own thing.
Now getting into the time where we get to be the teachers for a little bit after the observation week, we're in the practicum. Let's go with lesson planning.
Oh boy.
So, how often and how long did it take to lesson plan?
Too long.
I think it depends on who your AT was. Do you want to say your experience?
You can go first.
So mine, like I did math, right? So if I think we did, what was it? Algebra or something like that. And on the Brock lesson plan, I would go and I would do essentially the whole week on the one lesson plan. So I'd have probably like 4 or 5 days worth of lessons on one like sheet, because my AT, she's like, that's fine. She's like, maybe don't show this to any Brock people. Like, like she's like, there's no point of you doing this 5 times when like all the modifications and accommodations are the same. The learning goals are the same thing. It's literally just you're copying, pasting the minds on action consolidation. So a lot of the time the minds on, like it was very similar. I'd just do like multiplication tables or play different games. And then the action I would do like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. And then for the consolidation, we do like some summative form, like a worksheet, or like getting groups or work through stuff together, and then have the reflection at the end. And I'd kind of do like Monday, like they reacted this way and that way. Instead of doing that 5 different times, like I had it on one sheet, and she was okay with that. Depending on who you have for your practicum advisors and your AT, this could be the same. This could change up a little bit, but that was my experience, because I know people who did do 5 for one Brock lesson plan for every lesson, and that did not sound fun.
I tried for like the first day to
No,
make
you
a bunch of
can't do
plans,
it.
but you realize very quickly you've got to adapt it somehow. Our practicum advisors would tell us to make these lesson plans, but realistically, we all kind of knew at one point you've got to make it your own. You've got to modify it somehow to fit your style. And so I found out very quickly I'm just going to make my lessons into 3 parts. I'd make one huge drama lesson, and I just split into part 1, part 2, part 3, stuff like that. Lesson planning was
What'd you do?
it was rough at points.
I was really happy with my AT. Great guy, amazing. I won't lie. I was like trying to show him my lesson plans for the first day.
Did you not care?
And he was just like,
yeah, that's literally every single person that I've heard from, like especially mine. I'm like, here's my lesson plan. They go, oh, okay, like just go up and teach.
He's like looking at it, he's like, this is ridiculous. I'm like, I know, right?
This is real talk over here. We're getting into
the real nitty gritty. Yeah.
But eventually, like, I learned, because I was doing every day a new lesson plan. I'm like, oh, I have to change this and this and this. This didn't work. But then after, I realized I was just chunking it. I was like, if I'm going to teach area and perimeter, I'm just gonna put all the shapes in one lesson plan, and I'm gonna teach that throughout the
Yeah,
days.
I'm
Copy and paste.
For first years that are coming in, the first 2 weeks you're gonna try to do individual plans, and then it's gonna get to week 3 and you're gonna be like, I'm not doing this anymore. You're gonna try exactly what Jacob said. You're gonna try to chunk it together, figure out a way that works for you for your AT, and you'll go from there, because it's honestly just unsustainable.
They've changed how the practicum advisors will like mark us this year, but last year and this year, I guess, they're still gonna mark our daybooks, which is a collection of all the lessons and reflections that you've done.
Yeah, that's still important.
Yeah, that's still important, and you've got to figure out a way to fill those up and get those to a place where they're markable and they're passable, you know. But you've got to figure out what works for you.
Don't get me wrong, they were helpful making those lesson plans.
Oh yeah, for sure.
For sure helpful.
Yeah.
But I was spending more time writing those lesson
And
plans
actually doing the lesson.
than doing it
Yeah.
was insane. I'd go home 3 hours typing every single. It was insane.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Sometimes the lesson plan would like, I found my lessons, for better or worse, would burn out in like half of the period, and then I've got nothing for the rest, and I've got to like adapt or figure that out. Or sometimes my lessons would like, they should have been 2 periods, but I booked it for 1 period, so a lot of adapting.
And I think
was
that's the
totally-
biggest thing for me too, is like getting used to those time constraints. Like, I don't know how your blocks worked at your school, but we had 50 minutes, and like,
same.
because on the thing you have minds on action consolidation, and you kind of like map out how many minutes it is. And like sometimes like you'll have a minds on that's 50 minutes and it takes like 3 for them to do, because they just speed through it.
Or they
And
just
you're
don't
like,
participate.
Or they just don't participate, yeah.
Right.
And you're like, what am I gonna do now? And you kind of got to go with the flow, and like you have to fill those 50 minutes somehow.
Oh yeah. Sometimes those lesson plans, like, they constrained me because
Yeah.
I would be trying to tunnel through them and like push through to finish it within the 50-minute time slot. No one was listening to me. Their attention spans gone. I'm out here trying to explain area and perimeter. They were not paying attention.
Body
I never
break, body
noticed.
break.
I never
Body
noticed
break,
at
yeah.
some point, and they would just be like dead silent, and I'd just be like, "All right, guys."
Yeah. Speaking of the students having some, I guess, behavior problems there, thoughts on behavior management? Any strategies we use during our practicum?
I mean, I talked to you guys about this before, but my thing is like I'm usually pretty relaxed and laid back, and I can see that, you know, some teachers like that and they get taken advantage of. So the first week I went in there, there was a couple of students having some behavior issues, and I gave them, to say lightly, a stern talking to, and from that I think the class kind of gathered what the vibe was, that, you know, I am a little bit more laid back, but at the same time, like, I'm not gonna get taken advantage of. Like, this isn't gonna happen. So for me, I kind of just wanted to set a little bit of authority in the first, like, literally week that I was there. And it, to be fair, it wasn't even anything that they were doing that was that bad. I kind of just wanted to show that I have that ability to kind of, you know, put my foot down, because I don't even really like doing it. Like, it doesn't make me feel good, and makes me feel awkward, but it's kind of something that I feel like has to be done.
You gotta set the tone.
Yeah, because you see it all the time. Like, there's teachers that just don't care. And not even that, they just like get walked all over by kids, and it's just like, because they say, okay, don't do this, and then they do it again. They're like, okay, don't do this, and then they do it again, and it's just on and on and on. And then if they get mad after, they just keep on doing it again. If you kind of set that precedent, at the start, then I feel like you can kind of be a little bit more laid back, and then because they know you have that side. I don't know what. You did as
What was Shelley's thing?
Well, I didn't want to be a pushover whatsoever, because the worst thing you can have in a classroom is a classroom where like no one's listening to you. But I don't have the ability to either, like, you know, yell at them. I had kids asking me, "Hey, can you use your teacher voice on me?" I was like,
It's a Harry Potter spell.
I was like, you want to hear it? Like, and the problem was I had thought I used it previously, but clearly it just wasn't authoritative enough.
Can you use some ASMR with your teacher voice?
Yeah, can we hear an example, please?
Yeah.
I don't know how good that could be.
Well,
Vincent's on his phone. He's not listening.
yeah. Let me get it out.
Yeah.
Let me see.
Gosh, I don't even know where to start with this. It's been a minute.
Get him.
Wait, Vincent. What do we do with our phones?
We
Are you
text other
supposed to
people?
have it at the moment?
No.
No, so put it away.
Okay, sorry, Miss Shelley.
Oh, perfect.
There you go.
Yeah.
Alright,
Um,
but
so-
I would just play the pity. I won't lie. Like I would make them feel bad for not listening to me, and essentially they know like I'm a nice person, so they wouldn't want to be
Yeah.
rude to me. But I had fifth graders.
hopefully.
They were good.
Oh yeah, that's different then.
yeah,
Yeah,
if
once
they
you
were
get
eighth
older,
graders,
yeah,
they would step on me.
yeah,
For
that's
sure.
fair.
That
No
is it is so funny because my strategy is a perfect combination of both of you into one. Vincent's thing about the confidence, like if you walk in there and you're like stumbling over your words and you're like right, especially a couple of times when I was doing the math, I'd read it wrong or something, I'd write the wrong answer, they point it out. If you lose all your confidence and let them get on top of you, they're never gonna
It's not good.
they're never gonna let it
Not
down. They're
good.
never gonna forget that. So even if I would mess up, we're only human. Okay, my bad. You guys are right. It's this one. Or even I found that worked very effectively. I learned this from one of the people I worked at camp with. At any of the grades, if they're misbehaving or something, I just stood at the front of the class like, guys, I feel sad right now. You guys aren't listening to me. I feel really sad right now. And then they'd all catch on. Like it sounds very simple, but just expressing that. And if you've developed some camaraderie with them, some respect out of them, then they'll
You
snap
gotta
back.
build that
You,
rapport.
usually
Rapport,
I do,
yes.
like you said about the math problem, like I did that all the time. Like
Yeah.
I'd get a math problem wrong and someone would point it out and it'd be like, how about you come up, you do the equation. I'm like, let's give him a round of applause. Let's give him a round of applause. And they'd get so embarrassed and they wouldn't do it again that like by the end of it, like
you put them
you're
in their
human.
place.
Yeah. It's just like it's human that you're gonna get stuff wrong, even if it's a grade or I was in grade 6.
Yeah.
Like it's easy math, but sometimes you make mistakes and like
Yeah.
little stuff like that where like it's a joke and like we're having fun, but like it's also like they don't want to be embarrassed either, because I feel like that social aspect when you're in grade 6, you don't want to be like singled out or focused.
Yeah.
And there were kids that did come up and do it and like tried and but that was just like a fun way that
I had
did
a.
as well.
I'm gonna modify that. I had a modified experience based on that. Instead of the math equation, I would draw like science diagrams, and they'd be like, "Mr. Hamlin, your drawings are so bad." I'm like, "Here's the marker," and then all of them started coming up one by one and wanting to draw their things on it. So it actually worked out pretty well.
I won't lie. I
Turned
think
it on them.
every one of my math worksheets that I curated for them always had like one error with them. Keep in mind, I was doing these at like 9 p.m. One brain cell left after teaching a full day.
Yeah.
And like there was always one kid who'd be like, something's not adding up. I'm
You're
like, well,
right.
how do you fix it?
You're right. That was my secret question that was
Right.
wrong.
And then you gotta go and be like, guys, number 5 says this. It actually means
Yeah.
that. Like that's not.
But it's so okay to like take a pause, like look at your mistake, and the whole class can stand there. But like they don't understand where your mistake was.
Yeah, you just gotta be confident. Like
You just
mistakes
gotta
happen.
take a pause,
Yeah.
and it's okay.
Take a punch. Like it's really not that serious. Like in the scheme of things, like I was in grade 6 math. Like what are you gonna have? Like I guess when you think about it, like 20 people laughing at you, like that's kind of suck. But I
They'll
mean,
forget in the next. 10
yeah,
minutes.
they'll forget. It's like
You
yeah,
won't, though.
It's fine.
You won't forget.
You
but
won't.
they-
You're gonna go
they'll
home and
forget.
cry at
I
night.
remember getting called out
Yeah.
for my fractions.
Write that on your reflection for the lesson plan.
Yeah.
Never doing fractions on the board again.
26 children laughed at me today.
For this last little segment, I got some rapid fire questions. See if we can get these in. Did you feel you were always respected as a student teacher by? We got talked about students a little bit, by the staff. Did you feel you were respected as a student teacher by the staff?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I felt that as well. A lot of the other teachers as well were giving me like advice and stuff like that. So I found, at least at my school, but I feel like the majority of schools would be like that. They're all, it takes a village to raise a teacher candidate, and they were helping to.
My
get you
my
there.
AT stuck up for me a lot too. Like she was awesome, and like I feel like it was one of those things where like if someone disrespected me, she'd be there and like she'd tear them.
My AT was like renowned in the school. You can ask any of the others, and like he would stop in the hallway. I would never find him ever again for at least 10 minutes on a break because he was getting stopped by next person. They knew me just by word of mouth, so it was nice having him around.
How did you guys like working with your AT?
Great. Amazing.
Like I guess in business terms it'd be like open door policy, where like very hands off, like allowed me to do a lot of my stuff that I wanted to do and put my touches on it. And obviously like I had a million questions for her that I'd go in, I'd ask, and she'd help me like kind of curate my lesson plans. But a lot of it was like very hands off, no micromanaging at all, which like that's how I feel I work best, when I don't have someone kind of like veering over me, being like this like obviously like constructive criticism, which obviously is super important, but like awesome. Like we worked together very well.
So you loved how they guided you, basically. They didn't micromanage you. They
Yeah,
guided
like
you
I
there.
feel like people, but the thing is, like people like to get managed different ways, and
Yeah.
for me it was like she allowed me to kind of be myself and like make those mistakes, and like I made so many mistakes during my how many weeks were there? 10?
8, I think.
Yeah, 8, whatever. That is a mistake right there. And like she'd just be like, "Hey, learn from it, roll with the punches, next one." And I'd be like, "Yeah, you're right."
Yeah, no, I'm completely a type B person, so I think if I had like a type A AT micromanaging me, it would not have gone well. But I love the way he just like threw me in there and then put his feedback whenever he needed to, and it was just great because he let me have control and he let me know that it's okay to make those mistakes here and there as well.
I feel like
right?
you got 2 people who got really
It
lucky
was-
with their ATs,
you
like
really
super
were.
tight.
Honestly,
because,
me
like,
too, though.
I've
Do you want a
heard
horror
a
story?
couple like people who've had A type or like not every day, but a lot of times after class they're staying to like 4:35 to like have conversations about how their day went and stuff like that.
And a lot of people, when we came back and we were talking with the other teacher candidates, some of them did have problems with their associate
Yeah.
teachers. And so if you've got problems, if you're a teacher candidate, you talk to your practicum advisor, like they'll help you sort it out.
They would.
Also, we're only done 1 out of 3.
Yeah.
So like Joe and Dean are our practicum advisors. They said there's going to be 3 different practicums that you have. One that you love, one that you hate, one that's like I've had one that I've loved, so I'm kind of worried about the other
also
two.
had one
I hope the other 2
my
will
luck
go
is
okay.
gone.
This
Yeah.
might be a different discussion. In
Like
a couple
it
months.
was everything. Like my class was awesome, my teacher was awesome.
Right.
So like, yeah,
I think the
Who
trust
knows?
my AT had in me, like
yeah.
that.
It
meant
does
the
take a lot
world
of
to
trust
me.
too.
It was amazing, like having him leave his classroom with me and just know that like I could take care of these kids. Fantastic. Like I felt like I really was the teacher in that classroom. At some
You got to
point. I think
prove it
that's
too,
important.
though. Like you can't just walk in
sure.
and just be like, they're gonna trust you with 25. Like for my case, grade 6s. Like you have to prove it over a couple weeks, because
Oh,
they're
yeah.
not just gonna give you reins.
I was
right
doing
away.
the morning greetings. I was
Yeah.
telling them what to do next. I set up the calendar. He let me take over the classroom. In fact, he labeled it as my classroom in the end. And I was
That's
like,
awesome.
It was, yeah, fantastic. He's like, it's not mine. I'm the assistant teacher. Like, he's like, I'm the AT. You're the teacher. He came delivering me coffee at times in the staff room. I was like, this is they're putting my status down, low-key.
Iced?
No, hot. But like, he would brew it for me. I was like, thank
That's
you.
awesome.
No, he was amazing.
Yeah, my AT. I'm not sure if this will be. I don't know if she'll see this or not, but she would feel in the first lessons. I could tell she was like waiting to jump out of her seat to like wanted to tell me feedback right away. But as it went on, she was just writing down feedback at the end because she knew I think she had more confidence in me that I had it. But
Yeah.
it was funny to see that little transition over the period. The last question. What was the most challenging part of the practicum? Was there anything unexpected you had to deal with?
Boy, that's a tough question. I'd say number 1 for me at least was the lesson planning. That was something that I had to take a lot to get used to. Like I have a good amount of experience supply teaching, but that you get the lesson plans handed to you and you go in and you're done the next day. And for this, it's like you're curating your own lessons for a class. And I feel like the second thing is probably just how quick their attention spans are, where like you have to grab their attention and lock in like for a good 10 to 15 minutes and make sure you just pound the information in their head, and then after that you can kind of like calm down for a little bit, because the first bit, like my first lessons were way too long, and you could tell like eyes going like that, they're like messing with each other. And I think it's just like anything, it's a learning curve.
Oh, for sure. I think it's the same with me. Those lesson plans, like, after a long, full day of work, and then you go home, you can't even rest it, and you have to do more work for the next day, and half of the time they don't even work out. I won't lie.
Not getting paid either. Not getting paid.
These are unpaid
Pay us.
practicums.
These are unpaid. Yeah.
We can do our transitional, which I'll talk about
Are
eventually.
you gonna put a GoFundMe in the link too?
GoFundMe
Yeah.
for all of us?
Yeah, just us 3 though.
Yeah.
Everyone else they can shoot.
Gosh.
Not at that
Their
level
their
yet.
time is done.
Yeah,
it's
their
our
time's
time to
done.
shine.
Oh my god. For me, the most challenging part of the practicum, honestly, was the lesson plans. Yes, were a factor, but I'm gonna go with the fact you had to basically rent stuff from your AT. If I wanted to print out math sheets, I had to steal her login for the printer. If I wanted to prep anything, I couldn't really do that at my house. I had to go into her login for like this math stuff that had all the math worksheets
you use
to
Math
print
Up?
those. Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
to print all those things out. And then if I needed a key for something, I had to take her key. If I needed a binder or something, I had to use her stuff. I just felt that I couldn't be as efficient as I wanted to, because if I needed to print out an extra 5 sheets or something, I needed her key again to go do something, and then
They
you
have
know.
a paper counter, like at my
Yeah.
school.
Oh.
They count
That
how
might be
many
a factor
sheets you
too.
print. I was like, for every class is maybe one lesson, you're printing 30 sheets of paper.
But do they count how many lives you've changed?
That's where it matters, isn't it?
Honestly, quickly, high key, the worst day I think that was there, they had a desk change, and I didn't realize how, kind of forget how important like certain students going beside each other was. Like, there were people that were refusing to sit beside each other, and like it was like World War III. Honestly, it was brutal. Like,
I
that was
had to
honestly
do
one of the worst days with
3
the worst
table
behavior.
changes.
You did?
Yeah, he
cool.
made me rearrange the classroom 3 times within those 8 weeks.
And you have to learn who likes who, and like
Exactly.
it's just a mess.
This is
I
make a
had
class
one
profile.
day of observation, and then the next day I was rearranging their tables. Who put me in that position?
Who gave me the authority?
It was great, but the second one, I thought I had it in the back. Horrible. I had to change it within like 3 days. It was so bad.
You gotta stand on business with that
Yeah.
though. Like, I feel like once you change it, they're gonna complain, but then
Oh,
you
they
just
were. I can't say that word, can I? But they were
Probably not.
fighting me on those darn seats.
Resistance, yeah. But yeah, that's a lot of things that first year teacher candidates going to the practicum should learn about. Nice talking with both of you guys. Fun fact, in our language class, we formed a group between us, and it was the first group of teachers college that we got to be in. So I was like, these guys will be fine, and Huda she was fine as well.
Yeah.
yeah.
She was the one who got me.
Coming in late with their ice caps every day.
every single day.
Yeah, never
Oh my
change.
gosh.
Never change.
Never change, yeah. And yeah, anything else you guys want to add? We got like a minute left.
No,
Any
thanks for
final
having
thoughts?
us on. It's been a lot of fun.
Sponsor the GoFundMe.
Yeah, sponsor the GoFundMe. Yeah.
We need it.
Thanks to Vincent, thanks to Shelley, and yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Ooh.